Well, joining me now is parenting expert Liz Fraser and Anne McElvoy from The Economist. It's good to have you both on the programme tonight. I mean, Anne, let's start with you. Will it work? What do you think?
Well, I think it will work very well for people who have very high childcare bills, who feel that they're under terrific financial pressure. They feel they're doing the right thing. They're going out to work if they can get work and they want to stay in work. But sometimes they find that it isn't really worth it when they pay their childcare bills. So there's clearly an electoral advantage in appealing to a large number of those people. And also the women's vote. David Cameron has been a bit worried about his reputation with women. It won't be so popular, of course, among those who choose to stay at home or feel for whatever reason that they have to stay at home, who will say, well, what about me?
And Liz, what do you think? I mean, if you were a stay-at-home mum, would the offer of £1,200 towards childcare entice you back to the workforce? What do you think?
I have been a stay-at-home mum 3 times. My children are all fairly grown up now. I think I'm always one for rewarding people to stay at home, actually, and to do that very important job, as I regard it, in those first years, those preschool 5 years, to teach them to read and to maybe to write a little bit and to talk to them and be with them, because those foundation years are incredibly important and desperately undervalued in this country. So I understand why we want to encourage people to go back to work. Part-time actually has been shown to be the best for the family and for the children, because in those early years, that leads to a whole lot of problems about employers wanting to employ people part-time, as we know. But I think a lot of people watching this evening and reading the news today will find it very hard to swallow the idea of people earning £300,000 per year combined income being given £1,200 per child.
They're not being given it. Remember, they're not being given it. It is a tax rebate.
But
and they're already paying an awful lot of taxes. Yes. Sometimes we talk about people being given things as if they hadn't already paid a lot into the system.
But have you got the thresholds right? I mean, I know you look at politics all the time, don't you, Anne? I mean, it's a huge amount of money, isn't it? And it has to be for both parents. But, you know, living next door, a bit like child benefits, you could have a family on far less.
Well, I think that what it's trying to, it does sound like an awful lot, and to a lot of viewers it's just going to sound astronomically high. But I think what you have to remember is so many things to do with tax end up with a trap on marginal rates, where you get people who are just caught in a particular trap. So they don't need to be paid an awful lot to be caught in a trap, whether it's at the 40% or the
each.
Yes, but hang on, this is really, what is this about? This is about signalling that you want more people after the early years, where I think Elizabeth's got a very good point, but what you don't really want is a lot of economically inactive women. It's not good for the economy, and at some point we kind of have to wise up about the global race here. It's not just what we might like to do, it's what we might have to do to keep a prosperous country and the living standards that we want. So if you want to encourage that, then perhaps you're less fussed about where these bans fall, and you try to err on the side of getting people to do what you think would be a good thing, as opposed to saying, well, I'm actually trying to find a tax marginal rate that everyone will agree on, because we never will.
And Liz, I know you would like mums at home to be paid, wouldn't you? How have you thought about how that would work?
I've thought long and hard about how that would work, and it's a horribly difficult question. Yes, I would, actually. I would like to see staying at home, and of course you'd have to grade that in some way. You know, there are people who stay at home and don't do anything with their children. They switch the TV on and leave them all day long. So, you know, are you doing good child work care or not good childcare? I think what you said about, you know, where that cut-off point lies, you know, if that money that is being, you know, given back to people, as well, who, as you say, are paying a lot of tax already, could be used to help people who really don't have anything, to get them to go part-time for work. I don't know, I think a lot of people might be happy with that.
How much of this is, do you think, geared towards the next election and making, or kind of redoing some of the damage that Tory parties certainly have had, that they've been branded as not being friendly enough towards families? What do you think of that?
Oh, I think it is to a large extent about that. I think we're seeing the beginning of the big kind of payout. People have been through a lot of years of pain, and they're beginning to associate the coalition only with hard times. There is a bit of an uplift in the economy. We hope that will go on. So I think you will see this as a fairly key move, and is absolutely centred on women. It's intended to get the debate going, which it clearly has, between 3 women here on your programme tonight. And that is, of course, making women think, oh, what do I think about the coalition? Would I vote for David Cameron again? It's absolutely intended to have
Will it make a difference for the mums that you meet daily, Liz? What do you think?
I think most people within themselves, before they have children, take the financial impact of that into account. They know that, and they also know whether sort of morally or in some sort of a deep way they feel they want to stay at home or not. So actually, whether you had given me or many people a bit of money to return to work, really I think you've made that decision probably the moment your child is given to you, and you decide, you know what, it's worth it. It's worth the financial drop to be there to look after this child.
Lower down the earnings,
very low down, but actually how much of this will benefit them, I'm not quite sure.
We have to go. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.